So, slight departure from my normal reviews, which happen so infrequently because I usually keep a car a couple of years before I give my likes and dislikes. But this one is, in case you hadn't guessed by the interior, I'm in an Abarth 595, and I thought I'd give it a quick review because they're such a cracking little car, and I do like a small hot hatch. And whilst this isn't my car, and it won't be with me, so I won't be able to keep it for 2 years and tell you what I think about it, but they're such a brilliant little car that I thought I'd do a quick review on this gloomy Sunday afternoon in January, just to perk up my channel a little bit. So I'll try to stick to the things I like and dislike about it, and give my impressions of the vehicle. So this particular one is a late 2016. It's a Series 3, so it doesn't have the lights with the body colour centres. It's got the old lights, and it doesn't have the smiley grille. It's got a little sort of Dirty Sanchez moustache instead. So I'll start by saying, basically, it's a Fiat 500, okay? So it's built on the same plant in Poland as the Fiat 500. And let's get this out of the way before we start. It's a very small car. So I'm not going to comment about the boot space, about the load carrying capacity, about the back seats, because it's a small car. So you're not going to get much in the way of that. It's designed to be fun and to drive around town and to howl about in second gear, making a big old noise. That's basically it. What do I like about it? Let's start with the looks. I think these things look superb. Absolutely superb. And it's no surprise that the design for the Fiat 500, with all its retro chic yet modern spin on it, was done by Frank Stephenson, who also did the BMW Mini. The two cars are of a very similar ilk, calling on the heritage of a much-loved previous model, but building in modern safety and engines and all that sort of stuff. So the styling, I love it. The Abarth 595 makes it a little more aggressive, a little butcher with the different rear bumpers and the different front on it, and it looks fantastic. If you don't like it, well, you obviously don't appreciate a cute looking car, I think. I love it. So, what else do I like? I like the engine. The 595 uses a 1.4 version turbocharged of the Fiat Multi-Air. Now, I like it because I like engineering, and the Multi-Air is a fantastic system. Operating 16 valves but with only one cam, and electro-hydraulic valve actuation for duration and lift on the intake. It's really clever. Look it up on YouTube if you don't already know how it works. It's dead good. The engine is basically the Fiat Fire engine, which has been, as in not a fire engine that would come and Hugh Pew, Barney McGrew, etc., put fires out. It's been made since the mid-80s, got an iron block alloy head. It's pretty reliable. This is the base model 595, so it's got a little IHI turbocharger on it. It's got around about 130 horsepower, but seeing as it weighs just over a metric ton, that is plenty, absolutely plenty. So what else do I like about it? I like the interior. It's gorgeous. The seats are comfy, although I will say something, if you do have, how should I put it, less than slim hips, you may find these seats a little less accommodating. But if you fit the seats, they are nice and comfy. They look fantastic as well, which is Suits the rest of the car. I love the body colour carried through to the interior. It looks really nice. The door cards are nice. I mean, I've read reviews where people complain about the hard plastic. I don't mind about that. I find this stuff wears really well over the years. And it's also really easy to clean when you open the door in the rain. You don't get rain marks on it, they just wipe off. It suits me. I'm not really one for the soft plastics. It's just plastic at the end of the day, whether it's soft or hard to me. You know, it's not a luxury hotel. What else do I like? I like the digital dash. Now, previously I've not been one for digital dashes in cars, but the central dial, like the old Fiat 500, you've got rev counter on the left, you've got fuel on the right, and then a big miles per hour dead center that you can see. I think that's fantastic. It's really good. What else do I like? I like the big fat steering wheel with a flat bottom. Great, really nice, really comfy. If you've got small hands, you might find it a little thick, but for me, it's fine. The equipment it comes with, it's as good as you need, really, to be honest. What has it got? It's got manual air conditioning, which is pretty much standard on everything these days. Right then, what we're going to do is we're going to put the sport button. There she goes. Sport button's brilliant. Makes a huge amount of difference. Tightens up the steering. The boost gauge starts whizzing its way round, and it can pick up its heels and it can go. Sport is excellent. Throttle response is sharpened. Doesn't do anything to the suspension because it's not an active suspension. You may have heard the noise on that it made as it picked up. This particular car has the Marelli Bombardoni exhaust, which is stainless steel back to the exhaust with no resonators or anything in it, and it does make an absolutely fantastic noise. Although it's not intrusive when you're just generally driving along, it sort of comes on song at certain revs. It's been tuned beautifully, and that's what you want from an Italian car, isn't it? You want a really good exhaust note. This thing just wants to go. There's a little bit of turbo lag, but once the revs hit there, which, oh, and a nice little pop and bang. Once the revs hit about 3,000 RPM, the lag is gone and it's up and running. The brakes, I like the brakes. This has got 4 discs rather than a couple of drums on the back like the Bogo 500. They're good enough. This particular one is on the optional 17-inch wheels. The 595R standard would have 16s. This has got 17s with the low-profile tyres, and it is an absolute belter. It flicks its way around here. What don't I like? It's only got a 5-speed gearbox. 6 would have been nice for those longer journeys on the motorway. The pedals are a little bit close together for my size 10 feet when I'm wearing gentleman's brogues. And you've got to be careful you don't just dab a pedal that you didn't mean to dab. What else don't I like? On this particular model, it uses something called Blue and Me, which is some sort of Microsoft-powered Bluetooth thing that works with Microsoft phones or something. To be honest, I haven't tried it with an iPhone. It does have an auxiliary input if you're into that sort of thing and you want to play your music, but I wouldn't be too surprised if the Bluetooth and everything didn't work with a modern phone. Let's try and get some pops and bangs. There we go. This is a belting car. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the roads today are quite greasy and slippy, and it's not that warm. And this thing is just hugging the road. It's so stable. It's absolutely brilliant. You just tip it in, accelerate through the corners. There's my feet on the pedals again. It is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's quite stable under braking. Flick it in, hit the throttle. There she goes. Just calm it down there. Okay, we've finished hooning about. We'll just turn off the sport mode. We've got nice light steering, more relaxed throttle response, and we can go and jolly about town and join in the traffic. Out of sport mode, it's quite docile. It's just sprightly enough, but sport mode definitely. I've also got TCC switched on, which is the electronic limited slip differential, I suppose you'd call it. Probably worth keeping that on, because it can, from the way I understand it operates on the Abarths, is that it uses the ABS and the brakes to slow it down on corners, to give a limited slip sort of effect. But unlike a lot of these systems, it doesn't actually cut power. So your power remains the same across the axle, but the wheel speed is altered as appropriate. Now this is quite a bumpy road here. It's got a lot of repairs in it. You can probably hear a little bit of tyre rumble, as I'd expect from the low profile tyres. But it's not tram lining, and it's driving over this really rough surface. On Britain's crappy roads, it's pretty good. It is quite firm in its suspension. A slush bucket cruiser, it is not, but it's what you expect from a hot hatch, isn't it? And this, I think we can call it a hot hatch. It's definitely hot. It goes very, very well. So what would it be like to live with long term? Well, if there's just you and somebody else in the family, just the two of you, and you want a car to commute easily in and reasonably economically, if you drive it with a bit more respect, then it's great. And then a weekend blast down a country road or a quick cross-country jaunt, this is fully up for it. But if you're in the habit of carrying huge great lumps of wood back from B&Q, it's probably not the car for you. If you need to carry kids or anything like that who are any bigger than a toddler, then this again isn't the car for you. It's designed for fun. It's designed to enjoy looking at it, to enjoy driving at it. It's a car for fun. It looks good, and I think really looking at it tells you all you need to know about it, to be honest. It's a belter. Oops, there's the big feet again on these pedals. The pedals have got quite attractive Abarth branded alloy foot pedals, foot plates, but they are quite large, and I'm not quite used to the car yet, and I do keep catching the brake on clutch changes, which if anybody's behind me and I'm dabbing the brakes, I do apologise for that. So now I'm in an urban environment. I've turned sport mode off so as not to annoy the neighbours with the pops and bangs out of the exhaust, and to give me a nicely weighted but still light steering and a nice gradual throttle response. It really is quite docile and drivable in town. Very stress-free. I like it an awful lot. I can hear a little bit of rumble through the tyres, which is no surprise really. You've got quite large wheels, low profile rubber. This is a concrete road. They're never particularly quiet, are they? And you've got very stiff suspension. I suppose that makes for a bit of tyre noise and stuff like that. But then again, it's a small car with a stiff suspension, stiff body shell, stiff sidewalls on the tyres, and big wheels. So if you want to go rattling over speed humps, there we go. It's not the car for you. If you want to take your time, then it's okay. What I do like as well is that it actually has proper heritage. Abarth have been tuning Fiats for years and years and years, and Carlos Abarth was a proper racing driver and engineer and really knew his stuff. So it's actually got heritage. It's not just some sort of made-up name stuck on a car. Fiat have taken it out and branded it, made it a brand, much like Seat have done with Cupra recently. So whilst it says 500 on the dashboard here, and it looks like a Fiat 500, and it's made with all the other Fiat 500s, it doesn't say Fiat on it anywhere. It says Abarth, and I think that's quite nice. It just sets it apart, but proper heritage. One thing to bear in mind with this car is, though, that it's almost like going back to the 1980s, where when I was running my Alfa Sud and it needed 2 oil changes a year. This needs an annual oil change or an oil change at 9,000 miles, and then a service 9,000 miles later. So if this was my car, it wouldn't have been a problem, and it's something I applaud. I really don't like leaving engine oil. I know modern engines, etc., 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 can run, but I really don't like it, and I would much rather have clean oil in twice a year, especially I think with a turbo engine. We all know that the turbos rely on the oil and lean on it quite heavily, spinning at hundreds of thousands RPM. So here we are, we're back, and what an enjoyable little run it's been.